now it's time for us to get into the tech segment. And today on the tech segment, we're going to be talking about managing your finance and digital tools. And ironically, managing finances has been a topic on everyone's mouth right now. Everybody's getting serious about, saving. So whether you're trying to pay off a debt, put some money on the side, or even just save, there are actually digital tools out there that could help you do that. And that is what we're going to be discussing today with Mr. Stephen Nasebwedi, who is not a stranger on this show. Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good
How
to
are
see
you too?
I'm good.
Happy belated Easter.
Yeah. Same to you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's always nice to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Thank you. All right, so let's talk about, managing finances with digital tools.
Yes. Let's start off from this month actually, globally, is the Financial Literacy Month.
Oh.
So across the world, different interest groups and financial institutions are trying to educate people about finances. What we often say is that the key to managing your finances is knowing about money.
Right.
So you need to learn about money so you can manage your finances. And so today on this show, like you said, we're going to talk about some of the tools, everyday tools that anybody at all can use.
Right.
I want to start off from your banking app.
Okay.
These days, every bank will give you an app.
Yes.
And your banking app, let's learn that it's not just for checking your balances.
Well,
It has a history of everything, all your transactions up to a point, and you can also use it to even plan, looking at the history. So use that effectively, your banking app. Because you're using a banking app also, sometimes when you use it for payment, it means you don't withdraw money to put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
So if you want to save, it means you have some kind of a restriction on the temptation to just dip your hand into your wallet or your bag to pay it on. So
I actually like the banking app because it helps me not to keep cash.
Exactly.
I'm such a spendthrift and I don't like it.
Yeah. So learn to use that. What we would ask the banking app, the developers to do is somehow build into it, like we have elsewhere, build it with tools that can help us to plan. So let's say I want to plan towards going on a holiday.
Right.
And this is my bank. Give me tools within the app that I can use to plan. Okay, so I can use to predict, for example, if I save 50 cedis a month, I can be able to go on holiday because I'll save so much. Then we would be getting more from the apps.
Right.
Because every bank has an app now. So you want to add to it and that's where you're now helping people to manage their finances.
Right.
Okay. The same way with we're all doing mobile money now, whether it's MTN or Airtel, Tigo, whatever. And those apps also have a lot of data that you can use for your planning. So manage your finances that way. Don't do cash a lot.
Right.
The next thing that you want to do is everybody talks about a budget. And the thing with budgets is that you need to be disciplined to use your budget. And there are tools there. We're going to talk about one of them in a minute. But we often talk about the fact you need to have a principle, whether it's 30, 50, 20, whatever.
Yes.
And these are all there. There are so many tools out there.
So do the principles really work?
They are good, but you need to be disciplined to use them. Okay, so when it's a 30, 50, 20, for example, let's say 30% to pay your bills and all those things, 50 for your day-to-day expense, 20 as savings. What they often add is that when the money hits the account, disperse the 30 and the 20. You're left with the 50. And if it's locked into an account that you can have access to, then you'll be disciplined that way.
Right.
But when you're using these tools as well, it tracks it for you. So you can tell where you are with your 50%.
True.
Okay. And then one of the good tools we have is Good Budget, which you're going to spend a bit of time on. It's popular. You tell me a Good Budget. You've used it before.
I use it. I use it, and I started using it when I realized that it's time for me to learn how to save. And as a family person, I realized, I'm not living for myself anymore. I have to live for my son too, and his education, and also running a little business or a small business. I just had to, look for. I went on iOS and I looked for apps that can actually help me save, and this actually popped out. So
it's a very, very good one.
I love it, and it also gives you that principle.
Yeah.
So you can see it through graphs and pie charts and all that. You can see what's going in and coming out. Yes, that's what I like.
That's what I love about it. And the other thing you mentioned, family there, and that's important. You can share it with the rest of your family, because let's say I'm the guy, I'm the man in the house. I may want to have a budget and be disciplined. if the rest of my family, let's say my partner and even my adult children don't buy into the plan, there'll be times when there'll be pressure on me spending more money. So the good thing about good budget also is that you can share it with the rest of your family.
Right.
You can actually create household budgets. So it's not just you, and everybody knows it. So everybody can see, all right, on groceries this month, this is where we are.
Yes. That's what I like about that is
So
exactly
slow
what I
down
like
on slow
about
down on
it.
the
The
cereals.
breakdown.
Yeah.
The breakdown.
Yeah.
Groceries, fuel, internet, and and you could just put more of it
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. When the kids come home and they are spending time on the internet, they can see how much is going to the internet. They can be able, if they are disciplined, they can tell, well, if we overuse the internet and we spend so much, it will affect our pocket money when we're going back to school. So give them access to it. I love that about, good budget. It's got all the features that you want in it. There's a free part which you can use. But if you pay for it, it gives you additional things.
I use the free one.
Okay. If you pay, I think it's next level is $8 a month.
Yeah.
But that's where the planner kicks in. So, for example, it can help you to plan to buy a home, this, that, how you use your budget.
Right.
And it's important that we use these tools to do these things. Good budget is one that's out there. We recommend it to people, but there are other ones out there that you can use. You can always use. People even use spreadsheet. It's still digital. You just need to be disciplined enough to, okay. Let's talk local as well. There's one called Nasika.
Right.
So if you go to nasika.com, for example, there's a local one that's been developed. It's not as integrated and effective as the global was like good budget, but it's local. Let's promote it, and it will help you to manage your expenses.
Okay, so that's it on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again,
Smart money management.
Yes, smart money management, including even investments.
Right.
And it can, if you use the money investment, it can even project what you will earn at the end of the period, all those things. So go in there, make use of it. Okay. Again, it's about you being disciplined. But you can use the plan. So because when you know what you are spending or how much you can earn, then you can be able to be a better manager of your money. That's what I often say to people. Okay. So that's another one that we want to recommend to people. Okay. And there's another one called, I think it's Expensify.
Expensify.
Yes. The good thing I like about Expensify is that on top of being a tracker and all of that, you can use it also to scan your receipts and things like that. So where you go out to spend money, you need receipts, you can scan your receipts. It keeps a digital record of all those things.
Now talking about receipts, how important are receipts?
They're very, very important
to us when it comes to, expenditure.
They help you to be able to track where your money is gone. You wake up in the morning and you do a couple of things. You go to eat here, do that over there. If you don't keep the receipts, you're going to struggle at the end of the day to tell where every amount went to. So it's good to keep that every penny went to. But because you're likely also to lose the receipt, what you want to do is start scanning them.
Right.
If you don't get an electronic receipt, these days you get some of them. If you're using a card to pay, then you get that.
Yes.
Or if you're using your bank account to pay or whatever, or your Momo, then of course you get the receipt, you can track that. But if you're not doing that, you need to scan the receipt, and Expensify helps you to do that. It also helps you to manage even your small businesses, even issuing invoices and tracking payments that are coming in and all of that. So like those of us with side hustles, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's actually a big deal.
Yeah, so it helps you to manage all those things, which I think is great for us. Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the biggest benefits of using digital tools to manage your finances as to using traditional methods? Because we know that, yes, we're in a techie world right now, but there are still people out there
using good books and things
that are so scared
Yeah.
in doing things, in
On
innovative
digital,
ways.
yeah.
Yes, because mostly they don't trust the digital platforms. Like you don't see them want to use their card. You don't see them want to use anything, banking app. Some people tell you, no. I like it. I do checks. I don't. I've not even downloaded it. Until
Yeah.
you're in trouble, you hear them. Oh, I should have downloaded it or stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
the first thing is that it gives you a more permanent record than the traditional.
right.
What I mean by that is if you paid it you make a payment with your bank card or a transfer, yeah, the checkbook has a stub in there that you can keep. But what if you lose the checkbook?
Right.
Plus, it's also not, accessible from all sorts of locations. Here, you can access it from all sorts. A lot of these apps that we've got here, they also have web versions. So even if you don't have the app with you, you don't have your phone with you, you can log onto your website, to the same as the banking apps. You log on and see the same records and things like that. Plus, because it's data, there's more analysis of it. You can then be able to project it. Paper, you're going to have to do the calculation yourself manually and things like that. Let me say one thing that maybe we can do. The other thing that a lot of us miss, and it's a tip that I want to give, people don't know the benefit of having a prepaid debit card. It's very, very good.
Okay. Yes, I have a prepaid debit.
Okay. Now, for those of us who travel a bit or like shopping online, the risk is that when you're shopping, you just shop.
Yes, that's true.
You forget there should be a limit. You forget you don't have, like a bottomless, money. But if you have a prepaid debit card, you put the money that you want to use for shopping.
Exactly the amount.
Exactly the amount on the card.
Exactly.
So when it's finished, it's finished. There's no temptation to get back into your debit card. And it's not linked directly to your debit card. So that's a good one to have. So people, if you're managing your finances, do that. Okay. And also for people who are trying to kind of recover from bad debt, for example, it keeps you disciplined. If you have a prepaid debit card, then it is only the amount that you have there that you're going to spend online or spend digitally. Because we encourage people to do that. But don't use, because you are likely to go overdraft.
Right.
If you're using it without keeping track. But here, there's a limit. As soon as you exhaust the money on the card, you can't spend anymore.
Well, you just gave me an idea right now, because I personally use the debit cards for my side hustle.
Okay.
You understand? But now that you said, like, okay, you can use it for yourself too, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Instead of dipping your hands to the savings always.
When I'm traveling, I know I need to do shopping for people. That's what I do. I put that money on the card. So when it's finished, it's finished.
Right. Okay. So, talking about this, like, at what age do you think you can start using it?
Well, when it comes to the banks.
No, not the cards though.
Okay.
I mean, like.
All these tools.
Yes, the tools.
When you're 13, for example.
From 13.
When you can be active online. Or even younger. For some of them, you can use them younger, because as kids, you get pocket money, you get tips everywhere. You need to start managing it.
Right.
So we're moving you from the, what you get, piggy box.
The piggy box. Yeah.
To this, where you can track it. Okay. I've seen kids who start saving and they can track and say, okay, at the end of this summer, I want to make sure that I've got, let's say, 200 CDs or I've got whatever. They start planning towards it. With this, they can tell how far they are from their target and work towards it.
Right.
Yeah.
But how can people actually use digital tools to save for their retirement or invest in stock markets and, plan for long-term financial goals? So
there are tools out there. I mean, there are some that are just investment managers. So you plug in all your various investments with different people. And again, the thing is, for retirement, for example, you need to have an idea of how you want to retire, how much money you want to retire on. So this then becomes a tracker you're using to, okay, so this is how much I've got in this fund. Every month I need to put so much into it. You can tell the interest rate, what's going on there. They can be able to track that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now, but for someone that is trying to fix their credit scores, how does the digital app help them?
Great one. If you're trying to fix your, credit score, you need to be able to, you need to stop spending cash. Well, cash, you have to spend really. Number two, you need records of all your expenditures. So you can go back to the credit referencing people, and this will be a record that you can show them.
Right.
Because all these tools, you can print a statement, generate reports, and they can see that. They can see how you fixed it. If you're spending cash, there's no way you're going to get records to be able to go and tell them where you are. And you can also be able to identify where the leakage is.
True.
For people who have, bad, credit records, it's because of a reason. Maybe you were spending too much on shoes, for example. I had a habit where, because I play a bit, for some time when I was living elsewhere, every month I used to go CD shopping.
Ooh.
And back then, many years ago, I could spend almost £200 on CDs. At some point when I needed to track myself, I realized, no, this is where some of the money was going to, or even just eating out. You'll find that maybe you're spending, even in Ghana, you're spending, let's say, 60 CDs a day just on lunch. If you were using an app and you were tracking how much payment you're making, you can say, this is where the leakage is. Maybe if I took food from home to the office, I could save 30
I could
cedis.
save, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So earlier on, you spoke about Ghanaian banking apps.
Yes.
But how easy has it been to work with the banks? I mean, as developers or people that develop this app, how easy has it been for them to actually work with the banks in developing these apps to help us this way?
I think for a lot of them, they've been doing the basic stuff. But what they need to realize, there's so much data in there. And as a marketing person as well, what I'll say is the more value you can give your consumers or your customers, the better you'll be in a position to be able to retain them. And here's a case where what I'm recommending is that instead of stopping at the point where you're giving them access to their money, giving them tracker and all of that, start integrating into a planner, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can start planning. I don't know which of the apps in Ghana, for example, you can use to plan. Let's say you want to go and get a mortgage, for example.
Oh, right, right.
You can't do your calculation in the app itself. You need to go to the mortgage office. But here, if it was integrated or was a plugin, for example,
Right.
you can be able to say, all right, every month I earn, let's say, 10,000 cedis. If I want to buy a home that's, let's say, $150,000, this is how much I can save, whatever. So you can use in the planner, integrated in the app too, because then you are seeing all your expenses, the money that's coming in, everything. You're seeing everything in one-stop shop.
Right, right. Well, I think my
So they
bank
need to
does
speak
well.
to-
I think my bank does well at that. I see the graph, but I've,
Okay.
I've never used that feature.
Yeah,
I've
but
never used that feature.
So the idea is that it should be more user-oriented. It should be more so that understand the needs of the
Easier.
user and use to build the app.
Right. Okay. So before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people watching us and are wondering, how do I get into this? How do I get into saving with digital tools? What would be your advice for them?
I would say that first thing, just go online. There are several websites, for example, they can go to, or start at some point, ask your bank.
Okay.
What else is within the app that you're not using that will benefit you from, that will make you a better manager of your finances?
Right.
Okay, there's several websites out there. For example, there's a website called MoneyWise Ghana.
MoneyWise Ghana.
Ghana.com.
Right.
Okay. Which can it's got even like, there are like blogs. So it can give you tips on saving towards your wedding photography, for example.
Oh, nice.
Basic things like, this is
Basic
weddings
things,
cost.
Exactly.
You understand what that means? So basic things like that, how to save towards buying a new car, for example.
Okay,
All
all right,
those things to look out for when you're buying a car.
Okay, so how can people reach you?
At NASEI, NAASEI on Twitter.
Okay, at NASEI on Twitter. All right,
please.
thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. It was very insightful.